Hello, Dr. Ahmad Zamri and my fellow classmates. Today, Clara Dayang, Jennifer Zerling, and I are going to present our issues in the implementation of CFR in Malaysian education. In Malaysia, English is always regarded as the second language after Bahasa Malaysia and must be mastered. Shift 2 ensured every child is proficient in Bahasa Malaysia and English language and is encouraged to learn an additional language, as stated in the Malaysia Education Blueprint, is most relevant to the teaching and learning of English. The education system aspiration is to create a nation of people who are at least operationally proficient in both Bahasa Malaysia and English. The CEFR defined operationally proficient as linguistic fluency required to participate fully in professional and academic life. Therefore, the English Language Standards and Quality Council had decided to adopt and implement the CFR into Malaysia's English education system. CFR is fully implemented in Malaysia in 2018 for preschools, primary school year 1 and year 2, and secondary schools form 1 and form 2. According to the CFR, students can be categorized into 6 levels of descriptors, which are A1 and A2 for basic users, B1 and B2 for independent users, and C1 and C2 for proficient users. The ministry has set targets for Malaysian students to achieve in CFR. For graduates, they must achieve B2 or C1. For post-secondary school students is B2. For secondary school students is B1. A2 for primary school students, and towards A1 for preschoolers. As for English language teachers, they must achieve at least C1. Our issues today will be focusing on the CFR material and resources, teachers' competency and perceptions, and students' competency and perceptions.
Okay. To adopt CEFR, the Ministry of Education has replaced local textbook with imported CEFR-aligned textbook from Cambridge English. This textbook content is strongly influenced by British cultural surroundings. Currently, in primary school, Superminds textbooks are used in year 1 and year 2, Get Smart Plus 3 and 4 textbook for year 3 and 4, and English Plus 1 textbook are used in year 5. As for secondary school, the students will use Pulse 2 textbook for Form 1 and Form 2, Close-Up textbook for Form 3 and Form 4, and for Form 5 students, they will use English Download textbook. Communicative English 1, 2, and 3 reference books are used in Polytechnic. The use of many textbooks has posed a significant challenge for teachers in adequately comprehending and utilizing them. Textbooks published by different publishers and containing varying amounts of information will demonstrate inconsistency in the teaching and learning of the English language. In Polytechnic, because there is no adequate reference book for communicative English at the higher education level, imported English textbooks are used in place of locally designed textbook due to a shortage of CEFR materials and resources. The change was made because previous textbook did not conform the CEFR requirement. As implications, because we are using a variety of textbook version, the content of the textbook have occasionally overlapped and aren't appropriate. Although this overlap can be used as a review to improve and extend the understanding of the same grammar topics, time has been spent learning the same things over and over. As a result, teachers are looking for new ways to teach English to their students. The majority of teachers will just buy pre-made lesson plans. One of the suggested ways for dealing with the issue of diverse textbook version is to create our own CEFR compliant textbook. Aside from that, we need to gain expertise so that we may write our own textbook that are appropriate for students. Teachers must also be adaptable in altering textbook and complementing them with realistic language activities set in relevant communicative contexts.
Now, these are two pictures extracted from the CEFR aligned textbook and KSSR textbook. As we can see the words in red boxes, rubber is used in CEFR aligned textbook, whereas in KSSR textbook, the word eraser is used and it is common in Malaysian context. The use of uncommon word here, rubber, has led us to the second issue, which is shortage of localized contents and learning materials. Due to this issue, it has affected the teaching and learning process in the classroom because it diminished students' interest to learn something that they are unfamiliar with. Thus, it is suggested to include at least some local texts or plurilingualism content in the textbook. Students should learn about Malaysia's diverse culture first, before learning the foreign culture. As we are using CEFR aligned English syllabus, teachers can also set up or join online platforms such as Telegram group or Facebook group so that they can work together and adapt to the changes as soon as possible. Now, these are the two extracts found in the CEFR textbooks talking about London. So instead of using these contents, we can adapt it and use an extract about Sabah and Sarawak. Next. These are the examples of platforms that can be used by the teachers to share and get learning materials. Next, we look at two newspaper extracts from Borneo Post stating that there are insufficient facilities and limited internet access in Sarawak. So this led to our third issue, which is the insufficient technological resources and internet access in schools, especially in rural areas. So due to these shortages, it is indeed a drawback to effective learning as ICT resources are needed to implement CEFR framework well. So consequently, teachers will resort to the traditional way of teaching, which is chalk and talk. Limited access to virtual learning materials also hinders students to learn smoothly, and this is more clearly seen during this COVID-19 pandemic. So it is good if we can get support from different stakeholders like parents and community members so as to ensure that every student can learn effectively.
So moving on to teachers' competency and perceptions. Lack of qualified English teacher, a reason for poor English as published in the STAR 2020. So this led us to the first issue that we are going to look into, which is the lack of qualified English teachers. This is a very common problem happening in school. When we have insufficient English teachers, so the teachers who are not trained to teach English are forced to teach the subject. So they are usually assigned to teach lower primary as the content is easier. However, without proper training and limited knowledge and information on the target language and CEFR framework, they tend to make mistakes and errors. They cannot deliver the lesson well and unable to provide constructive feedback to the students. This will cause deterioration of students' academic performance as they do not have a very strong foundation in English. Therefore, more training should be conducted to help these teachers to understand the CEFR framework, upgrade their skills in teaching English, as well as their competence in English. Moving on to the second issue, which is lack of adequate trained English teachers who are capable of implementing the CEFR aligned curriculum and assessment. Not all English teachers attend the CEFR workshops. Only a teacher from each school is selected. The selected teachers have to conduct in-house training to their colleagues. So when they conduct the in-house training, they might miss some of the important knowledge or information that they gain. So when the teachers do not have a strong foundation on CEFR framework, which focuses on can-do statements or can-do aspects, they are less willing to adopt CEFR in the classroom and teaching and learning activities. So therefore, more training and workshops will be conducted. And in this technology-savvy era, so Delima is a very effective platform for all the teachers to get a first-hand input from the instructors and ask questions regarding to the implementation of CEFR. Besides, mentor-mentee program can be conducted too. Teachers can collaborate with the experts in the field of CEFR to gain more information. Through the collaboration and support from provided by these masters of the field, the content of CEFR can be imparted face-to-face or virtually, and any inquiries related to CEFR can be responded with immediate feedback. So this is actually the Google Classroom in the Delima platform, where the government can actually plan and conduct lessons that the teachers can join.
Pluriculturalism are two concepts that were missing in the current curriculum. Undermining the idea of this concept can be threatening to the effectiveness of the CFR, and teachers' lack of understanding of the concepts and their usage is likely to have an impact on language teaching and learning. When teachers are required to teach fully in English without plurilingualism, this will affect the students, particularly the low proficiency students, because they do not fully understand, as English is not their first language. These concepts may help teachers to explore and exploit students' metalinguistic and metacognitive skills in learning the language.
Another issue that teachers encounter is assessment. Classroom assessment is crucial since it is used to ensure that curriculum presented in classroom is effective. However, students' autonomy for self-assessment is hampered by their incapacity to design and execute assessment within the CEFR-aligned ESL program. Exam-oriented education, which focuses only on summative assessment, should be abolished. Formative assessment is not a culture in higher education, which has resulted in lower learner engagement and fewer instructional approaches required by students. Teachers should make a poster with CEFR can-do descriptors and display it in the classroom. This will assist teacher in being aware of what the pupil should achieve at each level. For Polytechnic, the reform process should include both English lecturers and students. Students with a MUET Band 3 or lower may be advised to retake the MUET CFR-aligned examination before graduating. The first table is a transit form for classroom-based assessment. This is a form to note down the progress of the students before we transfer all the data to the PBD template. It is purely an initiative from the teachers, as it is not compulsory since the students' progress can be recorded in any suitable form. And then the second table is the can-do descriptor for listening skills stated in standard curriculum document, the SKP for year 5.
Now we have a look at the issues for the students' perception and competency. The issue is when the student learns in a fun learning environment, but when it comes to the end of the lesson, students could not come out with what they are learning in that particular class. As for the students, they were only wasting their time if they did not get any new knowledge after having a fun lesson. So what do the teacher needs to do? Here we came out with some suggestions to overcome this issue. The teacher needs to show the students' learning objective and keep reminding them about what they need to achieve at the end of the class. The teacher also may refresh the language component learned in the next lesson as the revision. Another issue is when the students have poor listening comprehension, as the slang used in the audio is too American and the student may not understand the different pronunciations. This may lead to misunderstanding when they listen to the text. When the student cannot understand it, they may feel uncomfortable and unmotivated to learn and stay focused in the lesson. To avoid this happening in future, the teacher needs to create a conducive and welcoming learning environment. Other than that, the teacher should know how to select and carry out the listening activities that cater the student learning styles. As for the last issue that we found in the students' perception and competency is that the students are not incompetent to their English speaking skills. As found by Al-Bawi and Nadim 2020, Incompetence in speaking has resulted in a poor learning environment and poor grades among the students. That's why our students choose to keep quiet and afraid to impress themselves. To improve communication skill among the students, the teacher may set up English time or English zone, such as speakers corner, to motivate the student to use English at the school. As in class, the teacher may use blended learning or active learning strategy to enhance the speaking skills.
In conclusion, despite the fact that the CEFR was created to help students develop their language skills, understanding of the importance of language itself remains low. Although some remain skeptical, many individuals agree that the CEFR has a considerable impact on improving students' English fluency and ability. There are various other features and areas of the CEFR that might be pursued in the future, and perhaps adopting the CEFR will increase the quality of English. These are the excerpts from the reference section of the papers used in this presentation. With this, we would like to conclude this presentation by expressing our gratitude for your time. Thank you.